Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
And here we are once again.
And here we are once again. I like that. I want to first start off in the most holy name of Allah, bearing witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all in a greeting, beautiful words of peace in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. And that means simply, peace be unto you. I just want to welcome you all again to Thursday Night Talks, headed by the 7th Region Coalition, where we are always striving by God's grace and permission to help save lives. But before we get started, this is what we want you to do.
What do we want them to do?
We want you to like and we want you to share.
Yeah.
Don't be stingy.
Don't keep it all to yourself.
Don't be niggerly.
It don't cost a dime or a
Don't
penny.
be greatly unjust to yourself.
Come on. Which one of Allah's bounty?
What?
Yeah, and we freeze. There. Praises be to Allah. Listen, this is going to be another loaded show, because guess what? Family, we're in our podcast series.
Wow.
So of course, with our podcast series that actually, and if you did not see the show last week on the 7th of November, please go back on YouTube.
Check it out.
You can go to Facebook, you can go to Twitch, you can go to either one of those platforms that we are on to see our last week's show, because this is our podcast series. So we're introducing listen, I'm just going to be honest. Our top that we feel that is, doing what we need to do to help save lives and to create a space for us to heal, release, and just create love amongst each other. And so right now, today, we're going to start that second part of our podcast series with our sisters, and we're going to see them momentarily. But for now, I want to introduce my co-hosts. At the top, never at the bottom, always on the top. My dear brother, my right, my left, my back, my fore. My brother, like no other. My brother Tony. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Always an honor and a pleasure, Sister Cleo.
Listen, the pleasure and honor is mine, brother.
No, you can't. You can't take all of it. You gotta leave at least some honor and pleasure for me.
Listen,
being on here, you can't take all of it. That ain't fair.
Look. All right.
And a portion of it has to go to Sister Felicia and also to Brother Mark. So
of course,
hey,
so I
want for my brothers and sisters what I want for myself.
Brother, I was getting there, brother.
My bad. Go ahead.
All right. And without further ado, my sister, listen, let me tell you about my sister. When you're talking about healing, and look, from the top of your head to the sole of sometimes people's crusted feet,
I bear with
you got the remedy for that. Everything in regards to skincare, facial feminization, and we ain't talking about no Botox. We talking about natural healing. And you can also go back to that show. Has she got your sister? Oh, I mean, like you see it. I mean,
yeah, you still going.
You see it, and I'm going. This ain't no filter. This is straight. And I've been using the product ever since. My dear sister, Sister Felicia, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, we got that
wellness inside out, head to toe. Wellness inside out, head to toe.
Praises be to Allah. And last but never ever the least, he actually had a birthday, and he didn't want to even say nothing.
Oh, I forgot.
Listen, my dear brother, who I've been knowing for years, thanking him for being a part of this phenomenal, unprofound show. You know, my dear brother, and look, regional. I mean, look, not regional. I don't put you all in the region.
I'm
local Jacksonville assistant student minister, Brother Mark X. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, my sister.
Listen, let's get this party started. Again, before we even get started, what we're going to do again, we're going to like and share. We're going to subscribe to our YouTube. We're going to subscribe to our Facebook. And you know what? Who needs some help, Brother Tony? Our Twitch account needs help too.
Oh, absolutely. Be sure to subscribe, dear family. Be sure to like and share. Get tuned in.
Get tuned in. So I do not want to belabor the point.
No.
The floor is yours, Brother Tony.
All praise is due to Allah. Let us begin, dear family, in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, the one God, to whom holy praises are forever due, the Lord of the worlds, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the supreme being, to whom holy praises are forever due. I am forever thankful to Almighty God Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the nation of Islam. I thank them both for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Buenas noches. Sak pase. Abaragani. Hotep. Whatever language that you use and whatever phrase that you use to greet our people, I'm greeting you in that beautiful greeting right now. Dear family, welcome to Thursday Night Talks, which is headed by the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives.
That's right.
7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives was assembled by our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, here in Miami, Florida. And he assembled us with a special purpose soon after the Criterion message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan back in July 4th, 2020. And the aim and the objective was to assemble us to have the which were called Thursday Night Talks. I don't think we exactly knew what to call it, but Thursday Night Talks because we needed to have a conversation with our people, a candid conversation to warn them about an experimental COVID-19 vaccine that was really not safe to use, and we were exposing it podcast after podcast, explaining what exactly was taking place in America and the world in regards to it. We are still working to save lives. And today we are doing this through the 9 ministries given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he gave us these ministries back in 2005 in the midst of the Millions More movement. And tonight, out of the 9 ministries, we are focusing on 2 ministries, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Information. We're going to begin with the Ministry of Education, which is responsible for the mental and moral development of the members of the society by means of formal instruction in a prescribed manner over a prescribed period of time in a system or learning ranging from preschool through primary through advanced academic levels, culminating in the conferring of academic degrees under the direction of a National Board of Education, in addition to academic instruction. Students shall receive teaching and training in the way of righteous conduct, decency, and self-respect, with the goal of making a better nation of people. The Ministry of Information is as follows. It is the central agency which provides services that include the development of all sources for informing the public of the policies, plans, and strategies necessary for the free flow and accessibility of information essential to an informed and empowered citizenry. This includes collection, research, and a dissemination of current events, history, analysis, the publication of books, pamphlets, magazines, and use of the internet and social media. It is also responsible for the development of information systems and networks to secure internal and external communications, media program development and management, and establishment of an Office of Media Affairs here tonight with our 2 wonderful and awesome guests that we're going to be presenting tonight. I hand it over to you, Brother Mark.
Yes, thank you. And to begin, we're going to introduce, I have the distinct honor of introducing one of our guests. Sister Ebboni X is a mother of 4 born and raised in Toronto, Canada. A child and youth worker by profession, however, spends much of her time pouring into her entrepreneurial pursuits and homeschooling her children. She is a passionate birth worker, a Reiki practitioner, herbalist, and transition coach who strives hard to uplift women through health and wellness by creating events, motivational content, and the various products and interactions she offers. She is a follower and student of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, guided and taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who as a vanguard has become the creator and host of the God Standard podcast. Through the God Standard podcast, Sister Ebboni X aims to bring life to the original people of our planet by sharing conversations with and stories of regular people who have used the teachings to become gods in their respective lanes and in life. She aims to walk in purpose and use her gifts and talents to uplift the world around her, especially Black women and children. Let us bring to the program our dear sister, Sister Ebboni X.
Woohoo! Welcome. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Walaikum
salam. Praise due to Allah.
Welcome.
Look, this is special because we're like international 2 weeks in a row. We have Sister from Jamaica last week. Now we have Sister Ebboni this week from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
Yay! Woohoo! Praise be to Allah.
I'm sorry,
Right.
I just had to highlight that.
My dear sister, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Sister Felicia, who else we have on board tonight?
All right. So y'all get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Because we are bringing to the stage
Okay.
a servant of Allah,
Uh-huh.
a God, a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a healing
Mhm.
coach, a public speaker, a mother, and a podcast host of, guess what? The name of the show is Healing with Sister Angelica Podcast. Healing with Angelica Podcast. All right. So, Sister Angelica X was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio on November the 9th. Happy belated, sister. Happy
All
belated
right.
birthday. Solar return.
Excellent month.
Happy.
Excellent month.
Yep. Her determination, her Godfidence, all right now, and divinely guided personality has aided Godfidence, right, has aided or does aid in the work of healing and the resurrection of the unconscious people of the world. Very specific. Okay. She has spoken and she speaks on countless interviews and podcasts, including work with great names such as student minister Nuri Muhammad, student minister Dr. Wesley Muhammad,
All right.
Brother
All
Ben
right.
X, and national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, our esteemed brother minister, student minister Ishmael Muhammad.
Yeah.
And she is using her platform to spread awareness on health, knowledge of self, truth, and healing. It's a sister after my own heart. She advocates for those who are making conscious efforts to heal and live their heaven on earth right now. Not tomorrow, not in the past, but right now. Okay. Through her podcast, Healing Tribe merch, life changing content, and successful one on one consultation calls, she is able to assist individuals on their healing journey, helping them navigate and operate in their most optimal version of the self through their higher consciousness and God giving superpowers. Okay.
Mm.
And so you can definitely follow Sister Angelica on all the social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, IG, TikTok, Healing with Angelica. Okay. So we want to welcome to the stage Sister Angelica.
Bring on. Bring on.
My sister,
Welcome.
welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey.
She's no
Assalamu
stranger to this.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam, man.
Alaikum salam.
Listen, first of all, we want to thank the both of you for being trendsetters, but actually being the torchlight
That's right.
of not only podcast experience, but just shedding light and passing the torch to other people that they will be able to view you not only as a God that you already are, but also as just a beautiful reflection of these teachings.
That's
So
right.
I thank you all, and I'm honored, and it's always a pleasure for you all to be on the 7th Region Coalition, where we are striving, just like you two, to help save lives.
Yes.
Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing this is a personal thing, and this is going to be a question for the both of you all. Okay. But we're going to start with Sister Ebboni. What audience are you trying to reach, or what overall goal are you trying to establish in regards to you being able to have a voice, to have people to be receptive to your voice, but also what goals are you attempting to accomplish in regards to your podcast?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. It's interesting to be on the other side. But so with the God Standard podcast, my intention is to, like, I have a lot of supporters that are in the nation, but my ultimate goal is to touch the lost founds, people who are curious about the nation, people who never heard about the nation, and the teachings, because that's why I say it. Like, my aim is to bring light and life to the original people by sharing stories of regular people who have applied the teachings. So I want to show, like, that we are the God standard. And the reason why, the reason why I got into that is just because I'm inspired by the minister, and I'm really inspired by, our student national captain, Sister Naima Muhammad, who last year was speaking to the MGT, and she said boldly, we are the standard.
That's
So
right.
I just want to show the world that, there's what it looks like in actual reality to, try and strive to live up to that. So I hope I
Praise
answered your
be
question.
to Allah. No, you answered it perfectly. Thank you so much. Sister
Yes.
Angelica, Miss Angelica. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Wow. My main goal with just healing with Angelica, it's an overall podcast for anyone that's ready to start their healing journey, or anyone that has been experienced just hardships in life and are wanting to find different ways of healing, and understanding that there's different aspects of healing: mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, right? But my main goal is to really connect with the woman. I honestly say that, with coming into the Nation of Islam and just things that I've been through in my past, from just having daddy issues and being in abusive relationships, I didn't know my value. I didn't understand who I was. And it wasn't until I heard the teachings that really inspired me and woke me up and just gave me a new thought of life. And when I realized how much I've changed as a person due to the teachings, I'm like, man, I have to get our women on board. So I really, really feel like, my mission now is to really bring the women to Elijah. So that's my goal with that, with healing with Angelica in general.
Praise
All
be
praise
to
due to
Allah.
Allah.
Thank you, sis.
Allah.
Sister Khalila, I have a question for
Yes.
Sister Ebony. Sister Ebony, for those of us in the Nation of Islam who are doing podcasting,
Yes, sir.
why is it always important to consider doing it according to, as you put it, God standard? If you could explain exactly what God standard is.
Okay. God standard. So I'm gonna just tell you the process in me coming up with it, and it will hopefully answer your question.
Yes,
Inshallah. So I knew that I wanted to podcast, but I didn't know exactly what it was going to be about. And then when I heard Sister Naima say that, that really inspired me, and I knew that Allah was putting that inspiration in my heart for a reason. And then I'm still going with it. I'm looking for the signs, and Allah speaking to me as to what direction to go to. So I watched the minister's birthday, I believe, I hope I'm not wrong, but I believe it was 2023. And I'm so sorry. It was either 2022 or 2023. But he basically got gold from the believers.
that was
And
2023.
Okay, 23. So thank you for that. So he got gold from the believers, and he was just explaining that we all know about the gold standard, and money, and that's like the highest, like the gold standard, right? And then he was going on to say that we would be successful in all aspects of life if we followed his example. So for me, I took that as in, like, he is the gold standard, So yeah, so it was kind of like a play on words, the gold standard and the God standard. And even the logo of my one of the logos of my podcast, it's like a little G and a big G.
I've seen that.
So it's like the God standard, as in like the Allah standard, but then it's like we as little gods are the standard as well. So
Yes, sir.
I like
Beautiful.
that. I like that, Sister Ebony.
Yeah.
Agree to a lot.
And
All
Sister Ebony,
agree to a lot.
what comes to mind is this past Savior's Day, he was dressed just all in
Right,
gold.
right. That
Right.
was
He came out
another
and
thing
said,
too. Right,
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you what gold looks like.
right,
Mhm.
right. Exactly,
And
exactly.
he looked very beautiful too.
Yeah.
This question is for the both of you, and I want you to give your own personal spin on this question here. What is the difference between being a podcaster and just an interviewer? Is there a difference, and if so, what is it? Let's start with Sister Angelica this time.
If it's
Or
different,
is there a difference?
interviewer. It can be a difference. I guess it all depends on the way that you approach podcasting. I know when I started podcasting, like if we go all the way back to 2022, I, was really just really nervous, and I was just like focused just on questions, and like I didn't really feel like comfortable, but of course because I'm just starting, right? But as I continue to do podcasting, um it became just a great dialogue and not really interviewing in a way. Not just drilling questions in, even though I'm asking questions, but being able to actually elaborate on the questions and having back and forth dialogue with each other. So I will just say that there is a difference. I guess it would all depend on just the way that people do podcasting. Like you have certain settings where it's just complete dialogue, you just talking and just having back and forth conversation, in which I truly believe that's what podcasting is, just having dialogue back and forth. We're agreeing, not agreeing, whatever the case may be. But interviewing is more so just directly asking questions and not really giving too much of a feedback, but just hearing the answer, right? So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sister
Yes.
Ebony. Same question.
I would definitely agree with Sister Angelica in terms of the back and forth. Like interviewing is less about the interviewer and more about the person being interviewed, whereas like a podcast is more of like a back and forth. Like when I podcast, like I'll ask questions, but I'll also share a little bit of my perspective and whatnot. I think interviewing itself is less yeah, there's less like back and forth.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
I have a question in regards to that, just as a follow-up. So with podcasting, you're also what comes to mind is you're also marketing to a particular audience for particular purposes. Like when you're on social media, you're making this happen, so you might as well come out with products to help market the certain ideas, Sister Angelica, as you do with the products that you've developed, for people to entertain the idea. Like, look, I need to heal. I've gone through some stuff in life. And so here what you have is it's called branding. With Sister Ebony coming out with that logo, that was not by happenstance. She came out with that logo to present that to the public and for it to like really come into the mind. So as her podcast grows and expands, people will just remember that logo. So that's just a couple of things that just come to mind in regards.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this next question is for the both of you all. So, and we'll start with Sister Ebony. How long did it take you to grow your show to its current size? And what is the goal? What is the goal?
Ooh. Okay, so first of all, I'm a baby in this. I just did episode number 12 this week.
Praises be
By the
to
grace of
Allah.
Congratulations. Woohoo.
That is awesome.
That's
Well,
what's
that's a good
up.
That's a good number.
So I think that I'm still like
I'm still getting my bearings. I'm still figuring it out. So I don't know. I think time and consistency will determine like how it goes. And I'll be honest with you, like I know it's important to have goals and stuff like that, but I'm just open to where Allah takes it, because for me this is like, listen, I'm the sister that if I could, I would be out there with the final call, because I like to talk to the people, I like to touch the people, I like to like really like be in it, right? So
Mhm.
I see my podcast as that in my own way, if you will. So
Okay.
I don't do it for money. I don't get any money out of it at this point. I don't do it for anything else other than that. Like that's what I'm trying to do. So if Allah blesses me in certain ways, if He grows it to exponential, lengths, then alhamdulillah.
Praise
Okay.
be to Allah.
Yeah, that's it. Praise be to Allah.
Well, where am I at?
like how we say in the mosque, Sis Angelica, take your time.
Let me think. Wow.
She's at 100 subscribers. It's
Yeah,
100,000 subscribers. Come and see
right.
her.
like,
Blowing up the charts.
I can honestly say, like, even with my Sister Ebboni said, like, I knew what I wanted to do when I first started, but I didn't have like an initial like goal of where this was going to take me, right? But by the grace of Allah, we're 2.5 years in, and I I didn't even know I was gonna be doing it that long.
Right.
Like, so I'm just going with the flow, and I really just I'm really big on providing information and resources and being able to inspire. So with that, I'm just one that to just continue to grow. And just even with having a podcast, like I've been able to grow as an individual and be able to also just speak about my healing journey and things that I've been through. So it kind of opened up a door for me to be able to just share my testimony and share my gift that Allah had for me, has for me now. But yeah, like it's sometimes I'll just be like, wow. So it was really with podcasting that started my journey of speaking, my journey with being more so in the community, because as I continue to speak and do podcasts and be on other podcasts and listening to the guests, and just things that really spark my mind, to speak, it just made me be like, okay, even though I have podcasts, and also made me think about other ways that I can bring awareness to healing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when the products came in. That's where I have a one-on-one program now where I'm, assisting others on a healing journey. So it really was the door opening to a lot of opportunities. So I'm just, wherever Allah has, I'm just, grateful and just, praying for more opportunities. So wherever Allah sees it. So yeah.
Sister Angelica, can you say that you are healing yourself with your healing podcast, kind of like straight wiring yourself in the process?
Absolutely. Yeah. And and I didn't even think too much of the name Healing with Angelica, but as I continue to just be on this journey and just listening to other people's stories and learning for myself, I'm healing with them. I'm healing with everyone that's on this journey with me. So it's a beautiful journey, because I'm learning that, again, healing is a journey, and I have my quote, healing is a journey, but you should not have to heal alone. Mm-hmm. So as I'm going on this healing journey, bringing others on a journey, I'm seeing how much, this is actually affecting my life in a positive way. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's so significant, because the phrase itself, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. A lot of us need to hear that,
Right.
in this time, Sister Angelica. Like some of us think it's just a catchphrase. No, we have to be of the mind that we are not alone. Allah is with us, and in this time, for those of us who are in the Nation of Islam, we have Allah and we have each other.
That's right.
And this is in this time that we're living in right now, we just really have to huddle up closer with one another and learn these teachings and continue to feed on the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and grow with one another.
That's right.
And we have to also provide that for our people who are tuning in and who we are inviting into the study itself.
Right.
So with that,
Brother Tony, before you go into that, I want to just
yes,
add
please.
add something to
Please, Sister Felicia.
support.
Please.
And it comes from our supreme wisdom, right?
Come on.
We know mathematics is Islam and Islam is mathematics.
Talk to me.
Right? And so one of my business mentors have said that what doesn't get managed doesn't get measured, or what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. Okay. So because we don't believe in no spook God, right?
Right.
Come on.
So mathematics is Islam and Islam is mathematics. So know your numbers.
Right.
You know, and this is the science of business.
Right.
Know your numbers. Okay. And again, Allah does work with you, guide you, and continue to evolve you. And so mathematics is Islam and Islam is mathematics. Okay. My beautiful sisters.
But on that note of Sister Felicia, on the topic of healing, and this is for both of our sisters, I'm going to begin with you, Sister Angelica, because your podcast is oriented towards that. In the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the divine guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, these are a healing, which really they're one and the same. They are a healing for us. How has the teachings helped improve your podcasting efforts? How has it enhanced your podcasting efforts to heal our people?
That's a beautiful question.
All praise due to it.
Wow. I can honestly say that I don't recall what lecture I was listening to, but I recall the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying that there is healing in the word. And with me continuing being on my journey and learning, still being a student of the teachings and learning, it really has given me the confidence that, I have to do this. It kind of feel like I have to do this. This is like a duty now, and it's not a duty that's bearing, because it's something that I enjoy. And I know that, being able to speak words of life and words of healing to our people is definitely one way to help in a resurrection of our people. So with the teachings and knowing exactly what we have to do, me podcasting has enabled me and gave me the confidence, I always say, the confidence to go out here and provide certain information and inspire and to motivate our people to heal mentally, physically, emotionally, any way that they see fit of healing. So I definitely believe that is what the teachings has done for me and my podcast. Just gave me the confidence and confidence, to just continue to stand on truth and don't back down, don't be afraid. And God is with me and He is with me, because we have a duty to fulfill, and that's helping the resurrection of our people. So yeah.
All praise due to Allah. Sister Ebboni.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Question.
Okay.
Yes, I'll repeat the question. So in essence, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the divine guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are a healing for us. How has the teachings helped improve? How has it enhanced your podcasting efforts to heal our people?
Okay, great question. Tremendously, because I feel like, not I feel like, but I strive to live the life that I'm promoting, if you will. Like I strive to
Right.
live the God standard, right? So certain times, like I remember there's been times where I didn't want to do the podcast. Like I woke up and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna cancel it. You know what I mean? But it's like you have to push through. Like there's trials in it, and any of us who even like as an entrepreneur, right? Like I see this, even though it's not necessarily a business, I see it as a business. I see it as like as Sister Angelica stated, like it's like a duty. This is my duty.
Right.
So in that determination and in that striving to be consistent, I have to face myself. Like I have to face the weakness of myself that wants to quit. I have to face the weakness in myself that's like, man, what am I going to ask this person? Like, how am I going to word these questions? Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like just the teachings themselves being the standard and giving us a standard to live up to, I think in and of itself, in every aspect of life, it's always in the back of my head, like, okay, you could do better. You're a God. What is this? Whatever this thing is, what is this to like a God? So yeah, it's definitely it goes hand in hand for me. And it's definitely like helped me and continues to help me.
Yes, ma'am. All praise due to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Man, I'm glad we did this. This is excellent. This next question, both of you may have touched on it to some degree, but I just want to see if there's anything you'd like to add. This next question is,
Okay, he froze.
He did
Oh.
he did the freeze.
He's in the Matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what he was going to ask is just to
wait a minute, Sister Khalila, he's back.
He's back.
We're gonna give Brother Mark the opportunity
Okay.
to ask
Yeah.
his question. He's owning his question. Go ahead, Brother Mark.
Okay. You broke up a little bit.
I see. Okay. What's the story behind the name of your podcast? If you have anything you want to add to what you already said, because I understand you've spoken on that, but Sister Angelica, if you want to start.
Yeah. So wow, the story behind the name, right? Oh, okay. It goes back to just the journey that I found myself on after having my son and actually accepting the teachings, because I'm gonna be honest. I had it was that thing when me being new, I'm hearing the teachings, but I also knew that I got to change a lot of ways. This means I got to stop a lot of things. So am I ready for this? Right. But it wasn't until he put me in the position, and I was dealing with a health problem, and that health problem really did a toll on me mentally, physically, emotionally, to where I had nowhere to turn to but Allah. And I confined it in How to Eat to Live in the Quran, and also confined it in just natural ways of healing, meditation, going out in nature, grounding, like doing other things of healing. But the teachings really was my foundation when it started my healing. So after when I had my health diagnosis, because after having my son, I had a thyroid issue, a hyperthyroid. I think it's hyperthyroid. After having that, and healing myself from that by changing my diet and a lot of things that I changed in my life, and by the grace of Allah, my test results still have been great since that point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to, I have to share my healing journey. I have to tell people and talk to people about that, and on top of just the teachings and just using the teachings to help me heal from my health problem, me also listening to other people's healing journeys also inspired me as well. And also just with that being a starting point, and also me going back doing what they call it is that shadow work, right? Going back addressing issues. I went and got audited, did some Dianetics, and like a lot of those things in which I confined in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the teachings and Dr. Akili, you know. So it was within that came up with the name Healing with Angelica, because after I healed myself from that issue, I wanted everybody to being able to come on a journey of healing with me, because I knew after that, the healing's not over. I had things, I had other things I had to deal with, emotional trauma, the stress of being in abusive relationships and my father not being there, just things that I was dealing with mentally, so yeah, it's a lot of content in that name, Healing with Angelica, but that's originally like where the idea came from after I was able to self heal myself from my thyroid issues through the teachings. So yeah.
Praise be to Allah.
Awesome. Sister Ebboni, same question if you want to add something.
I don't really want to add anything. I think I answered it, but
Yeah.
just yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And also too, I want to share with Angelica. I love the term because we use words very very minute. We don't really take heed to what we say in the words. The words are so powerful. And when you use the term with, the key word and the element of with is such a key component. And I just wanted to kind of read the definition of with. It's a combination or a accompanied by other person or thing. So not only you are sharing your healing journey, but you're sharing it with other people. You're saying, come along, I too can, let's heal together. I'm not going to, hide these, this healing secrets by myself, but through the grace and mercy of Allah, heal with me, not heal, not just heal, but heal with me. And I think that's such a beautiful way to identify your podcast, because I'm not going to be selfish with my healing journey. So let's heal together. And I love that.
If I may, because in the book Closing the Gap, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan defines what the word with means when in the lessons where it talks about the 17 million with the 2 million Indians. Said the with part means that we're on a journey together. And that's what our sister does. And Sister Ebboni, what she does every week when they do their podcasting. So we're on a journey together, learning together, growing together, developing together. So absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And even with that, that hypothyroidism, because I do share that same story with you in regards to the healing part of that, and how, with the teachings and with how they eat to live and mindset.
Yes.
Mindset is such a very pivotal identification of healing any type of autoimmune disease, but just keeping your mind in a space of healing and of peace. And like my beautiful sister always say, words, you have to be careful about the words that you put in your head, not just out of your mouth,
right,
but in your head, in order for you to heal yourself. So I too share that same experience. And I listen, when I say I got a testimony about that thing, I did
Ooh,
not let that thing defeat me, honey.
I'm
I took
right.
that thing by the neck and just choked.
Yes.
Just make sure you don't
Praise be
do it
to
to
the Lord.
yourself.
Yo,
Absolutely.
and I can again bear so much witness to you, sister. And I thank you again for just sharing that, because that thing gave me something that I don't think nobody could understand
Woo.
in regards to
Overstand.
oh, so thank you so much, sis.
Praise be to Allah.
Can I add
And so,
something?
go
Is that
ahead.
okay? Sorry to interrupt.
Go
So
ahead.
I just want to go back a little bit, and because what you're saying, Sister Kalila, is making this come to my heart. So you asked about like what the not you, but I think Brother Mark asked about like what the teachings, how the teaching has helped you with your podcast, right? And I just want to say this, and I hope it's okay, Sister Angelica. But before I started my podcast, like when I was just trying to like figure things out and like whatnot, and I was, it takes a lot to, it's like once the podcast is done and sorted out, that's one thing. But all of the things that happened before that part, it's a mental, for me anyways, it was a mental struggle within myself to get over the, what is it called? Imposter syndrome and like all this kind of stuff. There's just self-doubt, right? And I saw Sister Angelica's podcast. I did not know this sister other than just being my sister. And I reached out to her and I asked her, and she was very open to like answer all my questions. I was bothering this sister with a bunch of questions, and she took the time to answer all my questions. And at the end, she said something that reminds me of something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, where she's just like, just do it, just start, like just
All right, that's
after all said is done, just start. So I want to attest to the sisterhood, and
Mhm.
she dealt with me with love. It wasn't like competitive, it wasn't like anything like
Right.
that. It was pure
No.
love. It was like I genuinely want for my sister what I want for myself. So I think that aspect of it, as you say, right, like with,
That's
Right.
right. That's
we have
right.
very different podcasts where we're speaking different things, but we're doing this with each other in our own different
Yes.
kind of ways, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I
Yes.
just wanted to say that.
Praise be
Praise.
to
Beautiful,
I'm
beautiful,
super
beautiful.
excited. Always excited. Somebody we need more sisters in the gang. Come
Yes,
on.
That's
ma'am.
right.
Yes,
That's
So
right.
I was more than welcome to help her. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm so
Right.
so proud of you. Like I'm
Praise
like,
be to Allah.
look at my sister. God, I said, just go, sis.
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
worry about all the little details. Just start, because
Right.
I just had to start, and I just kept going. So yeah.
Mhm.
There you
Right.
go.
There you go. Beautiful.
Praises be to Allah. And with
Excellent.
that being said, the start. What is, and I'm gonna start with you, Sister Ebony, because you are new in this podcast world.
Right.
What is your strategy for coming up with who you going to interview or who are you going to actually feature?
Okay, so like first of all, let me just say, like, when I tell you that I literally like I go off of inspiration with this whole thing, like from the beginning. Like I give it to Allah. So I pretty much just reach out to people that I'm inspired by, or who
Mhm.
say something or have a story that I've seen like via social media. Pretty much, yeah, only via social media that I think my audience will connect with. And I just reach out to them and ask them. The only kind of strategy that I've used is I try to mix it with brothers and sisters, so it's not like all sisters or all brothers. So for the most part, my podcast has went like sister brother, sister brother, sister brother, like every week. um and then yes, I reach out to them, and based on who they are and like what their bio says, then I feel out what the topic should be, like what the topic should be. And
Mhm.
then I go through the questions, and I go through I write down the questions or come up with the questions, and that's based on what I think that people from the outside would be able to connect with. Like, if you watch my podcast, it's not heavily in like, it is the teachings. but it's not heavily into like the science of things and stuff like that, because my audience is the lost founds, right? So
Right.
it kind of scratches the surface a little bit in that regard, but the point is to like actually get to know the people, like who they were before the teachings, how has the teachings helped them, like how have they advanced, kind of thing. So and then touch a little bit on whatever their like expertise or thing is, kind of. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much,
Beautiful.
Sis Angelica.
Yeah. Honestly, I got sort of the same kind of process as Sister Ebboni. I really just go off just what the initial mission of healing with Angelica is, right? We discuss all things healing. I mean, all things healing. Everything is healing, right? Everything we all need to relearn, reestablish, be reborn again. Like healing is broad. So I just get inspired again, like my sister said, whoever I believe will bring great emphasis to healing, depending on the topic. So I simply just reach out to them because I'm inspired. I believe they will bring great emphasis to the podcast, depending on that topic. And then honestly, I can say when I first started, I was like really, really nailing down, okay, what I'm about to ask, okay, what I'm about to say, what kind of questions to ask. But as time went on, I've learned to be a great listener, and being a great listener helped me be able to come up with questions as they're talking. So, within that, I can honestly say it became just a regular dialogue conversation to me. Like who do I want to dialogue with about healing in finances or healing certain health issues, right? And be able to ask questions that I want to know, because I believe most of my audience probably, questions I had, they may have the same question too, right? But I also give them, my audience, the opportunity to have, if you guys have any questions as well, put in the comment section below. So yeah, that's my process. It then became easier throughout the years of doing it. So like I really just click live, just go live, and we just talk, sometimes they ask for questions. I say, I have questions, but I might just go off the top of my head. So just be aware.
Well, on that same frequency, we do have a question from the audience, which all of you may be tuning into one another. So this is Sister Sharon. She's actually in Belize, it's a study group that's forming there in Belize, and that is in the 7th region. And Sharon does ask a question. She says, sometimes it seems as though Allah uses you both, mid-show to ask a question or make a statement that you didn't plan for, to bring out something your viewers needed to hear. Do you feel so as well? And so I know you spoke a little bit on that, Sister Angelica, right now, but if you could add anything to it, Sister Ebboni, if you could comment on that as well. Yes, Sister Ebboni.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, for sure. When I'm having the conversation, so like I have my questions. Sometimes it ends up where I go from question 1 to question 8 to question 3 to question 4, just because of how the conversation is going.
Right.
Or or things come up, or like I'm sharing something in response to their question, their answer, sorry. Or then another question comes up based on the information that they're giving me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Praise be to Allah. Sister Angelica, did you want to add anything? Because you did talk a bit extensively on that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I truly believe, when what to say, 2 or more gather, Allah is in the room, he's in the midst.
Right.
So,
that's right.
Like, when we having these great dialogues, I get I get like warmed and just happy and excited, and Allah just starts dropping things in my mind to say. So definitely Allah's in the room all the time.
Come on. Praise be to Allah. I do have another question. What have been your most memorable programs thus far in your podcasting adventure? Sister Ebboni, I'm going to begin with you.
My most memorable. I'll share this because I was speaking to my children today and they were like, okay, so how long is this going to be? When are you going to be finished? Kind of thing. And I was explaining to them how on my podcast, I aim for it to be like 1 hour, but sometimes depending on the guest, like if they're okay with going over, then I'll go over. So I was telling them about the two longest episodes that I had. So I'll share that because those were kind of like two of my favorites. So the first one was Sister Naira, Tavika Muhammad. She's 7th region as well, right?
That's right.
And that was an amazing episode. It was so powerful. Like she really went in depth on like auditing and healing and all of that. So that was, and kind of the circumstances around it where when I reached out to her, I'd never actually met her. And then I got invited to Florida and then I met her and then it was like, but like unrelated kind of thing. So
right.
It was interesting. And then the second one was Brother Winford X, who I think his story is pretty phenomenal, and I think it really touches the lost founds and people who relate to it. So that was a good one too. He went in.
Excellent. Praise be to Allah. Sister Angelica.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
You have so many.
I know. I can honestly say, hands down, the second part of Healing Through Submission with Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. We went over. And he just, of course, shout out to him. Praise be to Allah. Wow, he went over. And it was such a well-needed dialogue that needed to happen. So I can definitely say that. And my very first episode that I did with Brother Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, those two, I ain't gonna lie, I got one more. It was one with Dr. Wesley. The first one I did with him, Waging War on Zip Code. Those three was whew.
I bear witness to that.
Heavy. So yeah. But Minister, the Healing Through Submission part 2, wow, Minister Ishmael, he went in. Oh,
yes,
beautiful. Yes.
And audience, please, please, please. These sisters are telling you all some jewels to go back on their podcast and watch these episodes. Tune in, like, share, do the same thing that you do. Share. We are sharing love today. You know what I mean? We are sharing, shedding, expressing, love. So definitely go back to these podcasts and show our sisters love in regards to their efforts, energy, and their love to help save your life.
Yes. Our final question is for both of you all. Who's your favorite podcaster right now and why?
Y'all better say 7th Region Coalition.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. Who is it?
In my face. My grit in my teeth.
And even if it's not
besides yourself.
Because we want to know. This is the podcast series. We want the other podcasters to know. Hey,
and I was joking a little bit.
I'm talking a little bit.
But what y'all say?
Okay, I would honestly say Sister Angelica because like the way that she does it, she inspires me. Like her consistency inspires me. And I'll be honest, like most of the other podcasts that I watch are not like in this realm of things. It's like money podcasts, like personal development podcasts, like those types of things. So I don't know if you want me to share that.
We'll take that.
Okay.
We'll accept that answer.
I
Okay.
mean, because even if it's not in our ramification, what
Right.
are your other favorites?
Okay. I like Mel Robbins.
Okay.
I like who was I listening today? Well,
Why Mel Robbins? Gotta say why.
I like the guest that she has. She talks a lot about neuroscience, which like I'm like a neuroscience geek. So she talks a lot about neuroscience, just like general like self-development and spirituality. And then there's another Byron Golden. I don't know if you guys know him. Myron Golden. Yeah. He doesn't really have a podcast per se, but I watch a lot of his videos. And I just like the way that he speaks. I like the way that he speaks and how he bridges the gap between like the Bible and like real life, like current life right now.
Right.
I like it. So just the speaking aspect of it, I like him.
All right, Angelica.
Angelica.
You're in the hot seat.
I got so many.
Okay, top 5.
Talk about it.
Okay, top five. I can honestly say I love the Seventh Region. I love Sister Ebony's podcast. Sister Ebony's podcast. I love it.
You heard him. You heard him.
All right.
I have another podcast.
All right.
Actually inspired me. Oh my God. I think you guys, I don't know if you guys may know. It's called, there's like the School of something podcast.
With the white guy.
Is that Tom Blue? Lewis Howe. Yeah, Lewis Howe. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him too. He's good. Yeah.
His guests, the questions he asked, I said, my podcast is gonna be just like his. Like, I love his podcast. I do like Sarah Jake's podcast that she does.
Yes.
And of course, I can't forget Closing the Gap.
That's right.
Right.
Phenomenal, right? Like, I love it. Yeah.
Special shout out to Stu Minister James and Chad and Sister Starla.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Praises be to Allah. Well, in our next section, and thank you all so much for your wonderful, wonderful answers to our questions. Our next part of our show is called the Knowledge Corner. And when you gain knowledge, you gain power. And that question that we asked you earlier in the show, we actually did some research to determine what is the difference between a podcaster and a interviewer. And Brother Mark, the floor is yours.
Thank you. The main difference between podcasts and interviews are, number one, format. Podcasts are usually longer form, more conversational, and less edited, while interviews follow a question and answer format. Also, medium. Podcasts are audio-based and can be listened to while multitasking, while interviews are often videotaped and require more focused attention. And lastly, objectives. Interviews aim to generate compelling copy for publication, while podcasts have more flexibility and are not bound by traditional media constraints. And that is the Knowledge Corner for today.
Thank you so much.
I like that, yes.
Now, Sister Kalila, now that we've come this far into the program,
yes, sir.
What do our audience need? What do they need to do?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, Brother Tony.
Because hey, finances are real. We love the streaming platform that we use. That is not for free. They're not looking at us like, oh, they're so nice. Look, they're about saving lives. No, they charge us just like everybody else.
Right.
And so, dear family, we're asking for your support. Even if it's a small amount, we thank you for whatever generous donation you're able to make. If you have a large amount, we're not going to stop it. All we're going
Okay.
to say is
Can't
all
stop, won't
praise
stop.
to Allah, and we're going to put it to good use. And we thank you for whatever you're able to give. May Allah God continue to bless you all and your families. And that's 7th Region Coalition 29. Don't forget to add the cash sign right in front of it. That's connected to our Cash App.
Praises be to Allah.
And Sister Kalila, do we want to also have Sister Angelica's and Sister Ebboni's podcast also supported?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Sister
yeah.
Angelica,
Let's-
please give your information to our audience, just to let them know, hey, come and holler at your girl.
Oh my gosh, yes, and I'm gonna say this is it's on script, but even though we all for the most part we do podcasting from our hearts. We really do, and you can definitely tell by the consistency and just the type of content that we bring to the podcast. However, it definitely is a blessing, to have that support so we can continue to do what we do, So definitely be sure to support 7th Region and all of your favorite podcast stations, okay?
That's right. That's right.
Right,
That's right.
right.
Talk black
Mathematics is
to him.
Islam.
Talk black
Islam
to
is
him.
mathematics.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
right.
why I
Yeah.
said
So,
it.
with Healing with Angelica, I also have my Healing Tribe merch that also goes into the podcast to fund that. And so you guys want to purchase merch, you can do that as well to help with Healing with Angelica's podcast. Or you just want to give a generous donation, it'll be just Healing with Angelica. So just Cash App Healing with Angelica. So yeah.
Angelica, do you also have and this is Healing with Angelica? You got to understand, my girl is also an author. Stop playing with her. Stop playing on the top. And then you also had some information in regards to possibly a sale. Is that sale still on, Sister Angelica? Or no?
Well, no, the sale is
No.
over.
Okay. It's all good. The sale is over.
Yeah.
However,
So I had a sale going on. For my birthday week, I had a birthday sale going on with my ebook Thrive, a guide for young Black women to reconnect with self and God. I had my merch on sale, and any of my personal services, one-on-one coaching program and consultations on sale at that time. But no more sale.
all right. Well, you got to get it while it's hot. Listen, get follow our girl. This is her This is her website. I'm pretty sure she has much more there. And please support our sister as she strives.
That's right.
Look, the top. Y'all got to realize the top is not just for one person. It's for multiple people. Okay, so let's all rise to the top. And
Okay.
Sister Ebboni, can you share your information with our listening audience as well?
Okay, so I mainly post on Facebook. That's where I go live, Facebook and YouTube. So Facebook, Ebboni X Sav, and my YouTube is Ebb in Flow, EBBINFLOW. And I would love if you would subscribe, if you would turn on your notifications so you know when we're live. That would be much
That's right.
appreciated. Because I'm in Canada, we don't actually have Cash App. So I could take PayPal donations, and my email is s_EBBONI@hotmail.com. I'll say it one more time. It's s_EBBONI@hotmail.com.
EBBONI. And what else?
@hotmail.com.
At hotmail.com.
We're going to put it on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Praise be to Allah.
good.
Thank you for that.
Let's do that.
That's right. That's right.
Nope, I'm sorry. There it is
All
right
right. Oh, and sister, look.
Eb,
Sister,
what's your YouTube channel? What is it? What's your
Ebb
YouTube
in
channel?
flow. Ebb in flow.
EBB
Ebb in flow.
N
Ebb and flow.
There it
EBB
is.
IN.
Ebb and flow.
Ebb
Yes.
and flow. Okay.
Ebb and flow.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
followed the wrong person. Let me unfollow him.
make sure you following the right people. Oh, did you see
Yeah,
Sister
something like
Sharon's
that.
top 10, top 5?
Yeah, she's got more there. She has,
Oh wow.
right, closing the
I'll
gap,
tell us
Just so I could write those down.
the master call,
Oh,
Okay,
Brother
Sam
Ben.
Powell.
Yes,
right,
Brother
Excellent.
Ben.
People's
People's
podcast.
Of course.
Master
Oh,
Call,
she
right.
shouted out 7th Region Coalition to help save lives.
Talk black to us, Sister
The
Sharon.
Right.
STEM files. Ooh, she mentioned STEM files. We'll come back to that in just a moment.
Yes.
Sister Sajda in her channel. Praise be
Yes.
to Allah. And says here, my sister's house in both sisters, of course. Praise.
Both these sisters.
Praise, sister.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Well, Sister, Brother Tony, if you can
Yes, ma'am.
close us out.
Absolutely. Do we have the flyer for next week, Sister Kalila?
We do not.
Well, we're going to be putting it out on
Oh, well.
social media in just a few minutes. We will be having the STEM files
Yes.
next week, and
STEM files this week.
they have an awesome podcast. We're going to be discussing the roots and origins of that podcast and what kind of great success they're experiencing today. But thank you, dear family, for tuning in. May Allah God continue to bless you all and your families. In the famous words of our brother Lyle, which we need to have him on
Yes. Brother
sometime
Ma,
very soon,
Brother-
Sister Kalila. We're
yes.
not a
Brother
clique, we're
Lyle.
not a gang, we're not a,
A click.
club. We ain't none of that. What are we?
We the
With
7th
7th Region Coalition
Coalition.
to help save lives. Tune in next week, family. May Allah God continue.